We really need to accelerate the number of students, of Francophone students that we have, and those policies or those measures or this new tariffication model will inevitably help us.
The Quebec government is doubling tuition for out-of-province students to give more money to Francophone universities. Tuition for Canadians outside Quebec will jump to $17,000 from just under $9,000 beginning fall 2024, while the minimum tuition for international students will be $20,000. Some say this announcement is sending a negative message, and students will be discouraged from applying to universities in Montreal.
This is not a measure against Anglophones, and I want to be clear on that. It's not a measure. I'm not closing the doors to any Anglophone students who want to come to McGill or Concordia or Bishop.
Quebec's higher education minister justified these measures by claiming that tuition will be competitive with other provinces and that the majority of out-of-province students leave Quebec after their studies are completed. The new measures will be implemented for out-of-province or international students doing their undergraduate degrees as well as certain master's degrees. Students that are already in the system are not subject to these new measures.
We simply cannot punish international students who come here, some of them genuinely seeking to integrate with the Quebec culture, cannot punish them just because of the language that they speak.
Mathias Orhero is an international student working on his PhD at McGill University. Although he would be exempt from an increased tuition next year if he were to have started then, he says the government needs to be more empathetic towards students.
Cost of living is not necessarily the cheapest, right? So you have to pay rent, you have to pay bills, you have to do all sorts of things. And then you find students doing all sorts of odd jobs just because they need to pay tuition and be able to survive.
It's a richness for us in Quebec to have people coming from elsewhere.
Quebec's language minister says the new rates will help to stop the decline of French, particularly in Montreal. Dolores Chu teaches in an English college in the city.
It's going to have an impact on businesses, small mom and dad depaners, renting.
Concordia University says that they're disappointed by these measures and that increasing tuition fees will make education unaffordable for many students. They tell City News that these issues were never discussed with them and are not based on data and clearly do not understand the national and global market of universities. McGill tells us that their team is currently in the process of analyzing the consequences of this for their students, McGill, and the broader higher education ecosystem. The measures announced today will have a major long-term effect on Quebec's economy, they say.
As much as we need to fund French universities and improve French and all that, we also need to be humane.
In Montreal, Swidda Rassy, City News.